American citizens' rights to rivers and lakes are in danger after the Ninth Circuit ruling, a right that the U.S. Supreme Court has said all Americans possess. Bob Unruh, WND, reports the Supreme Court is being asked to affirm an 1873 precedent that citizens of the United States have a right to use the nation's navigable rivers and lakes. The appeal was made after the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals curtailed the scope of that right, ruling it only protected uses that involve interstate or foreign commerce. But the Ninth Circuit went further. According to the Institute for Justice, the appeals court said that uses of navigable waters within a state also are not protected, and that the laws generally bars claims against the power of the state the governments over the rights of their own citizens. The Institute for Justice is representing two brothers opposing Washington State's refusal to allow them to launch a small ferry service due to the state's public convenience and necessity requirement. Kindly support my Patreon channel because YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. I'll have at least 5 videos that are not on my YouTube channel, videos that, of course, are censored to certain platforms. I hope you'll find them interesting. The link is in the description box below each video. Thank you for your support. The state will grant permission to Jim and Cliff Courtney only if the existing ferry company consents or they can prove to the government that the public convenience and necessity requires another ferry. The Institute for Justice said the brothers have been trying for 23 years to operate on Lake Chelan in the northern Cascade Mountains. The Washington law IJ contends it's like giving McDonald's permission to veto a Burger King restaurant at the same market. Two brothers want to shuttle customers of their family's businesses at the far end of the lake where there is no access by road. At issue, IJ said, is the Privilege or Immunities Clause of the Constitution's 14th Amendment and the Slaughterhouse cases, an 1873 decision in which the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the power of states to create monopolies in certain industries. The Institute said, but interestingly in that case, the justices held that among the rights known then as privileges or immunities that states have to respect is the right to use the navigable waters of the United States, the very right at the heart of Jim and Cliff's case and their private boat service. The Ninth Circuit, though, rendered meaningless a right that the U.S. Supreme Court has said all Americans possess by virtue of their national citizenship, said Michael Bindas, senior attorney with the Institute for Justice. And worse, it floats the very constitutional provision that protects that right. When the Privileges or Immunities Clause say that no state shall abridge rights of national citizenship, it actually means no state, including one's own state. IJ said a decision on whether the Supreme Court will take the case could come shortly after a January 8 conference. The Courtney's petition raises fundamental questions regarding the constitutional provision that was supposed to be the cornerstone of the 14th Amendment, and it concerns a right that the U.S. Supreme Court has held every American possesses by virtue of their national citizenship, said Bindas. The Ninth Circuit decision, if allowed to stand, will reduce that right to meaninglessness, and the Supreme Court should not let that happen, they said. The brothers already have the support of a number of organizations. A coalition of historians argue one of the original intents of the navigable waters provision was because they were used to free blacks and slaves in the period leading up to the Civil War. And a team of law professors contended the Ninth Circuit decision, quote, flies in the face of the U.S. Supreme Court precedent, history, and the unanimous consensus of legal scholars, end quote. Americans for Prosperity Foundation asserted the High Court needs to protect the right of the people to use the nation's navigable waterways and unwind the conflation of limits on congressional power and protection of individual rights wrought by the Ninth Circuit. The brothers' appeal said Lake Chelan thus provides a critical means of access. The lake is a navigable water of the United States. It has been designated as such by the Corps of Engineers, and as the Corps recognized in making the designation, the lake is presently and has been in the past and may in the future be used for interstate commerce. This is by WND and by Bob Undru. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.